Anti-Afro Spengalis. This message is for you, Lady Dimplez. I'm going to address slurs specific to the LGBTQ plus community and relate it back to an appearance you made on a live stream a few days ago. You caught the link to Phonyton's live stream, or let me say Photon since you're not familiar with the nicknames in that Umar Johnson sector. You caught that link and you were met rapid fire with a bunch of lies. And I recall a few months ago your discussion with Stargate and how serious you were, the intensity that you displayed when you expressed liars were intolerable to you. Liars are a deal breaker to you. And you had some other choice words. And you were referring to the same subject who was now running around your sector false flagging. And you have some live streams up on your channel now addressing that subject. And you caught the link wanting to know how come no one in the Umar Johnson sector alerted your sector as to the potential of this happening. I'm not going to name that subject, but I will give that nickname, Fold Up Body, FUB, F-U-B. Now, getting back to the link that you caught on Photon's page, and the person who was firing off all these lies to you, Carrie Ann, lies 1,000,000 times worse than Fold Up Body. And the frequency of lies surpasses Fold Up Body by leaps and bounds that cannot be measured. So, let me address the most profoundly offensive lie Carrie Ann told you, that Reb G is one who will lash out, and when he gets angry, his go-to is to rattle off offensive lingo targeting the LGBTQ plus community. Let me tell you, since 2014, Reb G has given Umar Johnson the blues. And the reason he has given Umar Johnson the blues is because he has confronted him regarding his virulent, reprehensible, dangerous, and destructive rhetoric targeting the LGBTQ community. As Umar Johnson went around the United States with this bullshit, Reb G reached out to media, gave interviews, made sure the record was straight, and in a lot of instances got Umar Johnson canceled, provided proof of his rhetoric. He tried to get up in these K through 12 schools with this garbage and was run out to this day. The only way Umar Johnson can get into a lot of these educational institutions is to sneak into the back door. He cannot be hosted by faculty. He slides up to females who sneak him in, and by the time it's found out, there's controversy. Umar Johnson and his presence in educational institutions ends up causing an incredible amount of trouble where principals have to post apologies on YouTube. This is why there is so much resentment and anger towards Reb G. Reb G doesn't give a damn. He's going to do what he's going to do because he believes in what he does. He's not going to sit here and cater to a bunch of raging homophobes, which is exactly what Carrie Ann is. Umar damn near lost his mind over Reb G, refusing to back down and insisting Umar Johnson stop what he's doing. I invite you to Google Umar Johnson's name in the YouTube search engine and see what comes up. Umar and his daughter are embroiled in a situation, and Umar Johnson has sent his entire social media following after his daughter. This is exactly what he did to Reb G. And Reb G did not back down. Rev G will not back down from being an ally. When it comes to most subjects in the Umar Johnson sector, not all, most, they are raging homophobes. And this is why they target Rev G, including Photon. I can get into that later. I can tell you all kinds of stories about Photon and his raging homophobia. But I'm sticking with Carrie Ann right now. Whenever you hear any derogatory, offensive, abusive comments about Rev G, they are rooted in the fact that he is an ally. And it's coming from someone who was closeted. Now, those in the Umar Johnson sector who are closeted are in different locations in the closet. Trust and believe, there's a story to tell about each and every one of them. Now, let me mention the TikTok situation, which came about based on Rev G being stalked as it relates to him being an ally. Now, Carrie Ann said, following kids on TikTok. Clearly, it was designed to make you believe the following is what people tend to interpret as someone venturing out, someone taking the initiative, someone making the first move to connect with a minor for nefarious purposes on social media. And eventually, they're going to get the minor to do something that is dangerous, that puts them at risk, either on social media or meeting up off social media. We know that is the goal. That's the mindset they want you to be in when they make that statement. Following kids on TikTok. So let me tell you what Rev G following people on TikTok is. Someone likes Rev G's video and they hit the like button. As soon as Rev G sees someone has hit the like button, he hits the follow button. That's the long and short of it. So one of Rev G's closeted stalkers goes rummaging around, because Rev G is followed everywhere. These stalkers have followed Rev G off YouTube. We have had to get law enforcement involved. That's a whole nother story. But this subject goes into Rev G's TikTok. Rev G doesn't even interact with the subject. But they go there and they see the people who Rev G has in the place where people are followed. They get the people, they bring it to the vultures, and they start saying he's following kids. It doesn't matter what age the people are. Whoever liked his videos, he hit the follow button. Then they started identifying people as minors who weren't even minors. When Rev G addressed it, he just addressed it in passing initially and said who some of the people were. He didn't give the names, and he identified some of them as friends. Do you know these freaks expected Rev G to come out here and actually explain himself and be specific as to who was who? He's not going to do that. So they went and ran with following kids on TikTok. And even worse, they posted the photos of minors who had hit Rev G's like button. So they were the ones harassing children, taking their pictures and putting them on their page. Rev G just simply hit follow. That's what it is about TikTok. And if there was something nefarious and dangerous, something to hide, something to be ashamed of, Rev G would have yanked down his TikTok. Rev G's TikTok is still up and operates the same way it always has. But let me tell you what happened to Carrie Ann's, what, fourth or fifth YouTube page? It's barren. She has no content on it because her ass got fired behind her YouTube page. She had 300 videos on her last YouTube page. Gone. But I will tell you, gone from her page, but not gone. We have essentially, I'd say 95% of her content. And you better believe a lot of it displays her raging homophobia, her misgendering, her HIV shaming, that essentially every black man is DL or gay, her transgender bashing. She is miserable. She is defeated. She's angry because she lost. What she wanted to do is stay at Tucker High School, and we got her ass up out of there. Rev G is a professor doing what he wants to do. That's why she's pissed. She thought she couldn't be touched. She thought she was going to be able to stay there and harass those children, race attack those children, bully those children, stay on YouTube all day when she's supposed to be working. She said she was there for like, I think, 10 years. She was comfortable. She was set in stone until her ass shows up on the news for the shit she was doing on YouTube. Ha, ha, ha. And she says Rev G was fired from a job. Yes, Rev G did lose a job. And you know why he lost a job? Giving these freaks mercy by not reporting threats. But he wasn't fired from a job that was in the education field. Never. And that was, what, 5+ years ago? It wasn't over somebody reporting him on YouTube. It was over him giving these freaks a chance and not wanting them to get in trouble. But he has reached the pinnacle. He is a college/university professor working on articles. And he still is an ally and still will not back down while you have Carrie Ann doing what? Displaying over and over again how she has no respect for herself. You tell me somebody has respect for themselves sitting on a page, sitting on Photon's page, who said he would rather consume his own semen than impregnate her, or any of those other females in the Umar Johnson sector. And she's sitting up on his page. And that's not the only thing Photon has said about Carrie Ann. He cannot stand her. Who hangs around a dude who can't stand you? Who pays a dude who can't stand you? She has paid that dude so much money. She's trying to pay for someone to like her, and he cannot stand her, but she goes running around. She's over on Dumpsy's page. Dumpsy has run at least 3 videos trashing and bashing Carrie Ann about how dirty she is, mind, body, and soul. And what does Carrie Ann do? She blames Stargate for that. She blames breaking the culture of silence for that. Breaking the culture of silence wasn't even the Umar Johnson sector when Dumpsy Dederell made those videos. But here goes. Carrie Ann is nothing but a liar, worse than fold-up body. Let me address the final lie she told, that she never accused Rev G of being someone who is trying to hurt children. She's a liar. She initially started this about 4 years ago, grabbed a link on someone's page called "Let me see your handcuffs" or "Let me see your transcripts," and said she was going to call the police on Rev G because he was going to do something to kids. And she started going on and on about he was a danger to children. She had absolutely no basis to make that claim. She only saw how Rev G was talked about, well known, in and around the Umar Johnson sector, because Rev G is not actually in the Umar Johnson sector, he's adjacent. She saw that he was one of the people who was frequently referred to, and she thought by going off, talking about Rev G, she could become known. So over the years, Rev G has gradually decided that she needs to be addressed. And as of late, he has been sending her cease and desist letter. As advised, he's building a paper trail. Eventually, this will be brought before the legal system. He's documenting the number of times he has directed Carrie Ann to cease her conduct. Eventually, this will be addressed in the proper form, and we're documenting what she is doing. But I wanted to make sure you were fully aware. Whenever you hear Carrie Ann spewing disgusting, vile negativity about anyone else, rest assured she's referring to self. There is so much more I could tell you. If you got any questions, I'll be sure to answer them here. In the meantime, I'll sign off as I always do. Buyer beware.